Hi, I'm Dave Scott. I've got a few tips for you today on your running. How do you get faster? Everyone always talks about going to the track. That's a good idea. Doing fartlek training, doing a tempo run, all great things to integrate, but I want to just talk about one area, running hills. And there's two thoughts, at least on mine there's two thoughts. One, should we do a short hill or should you do a longer hill? Well, let's look at a short hill. First off, if we look at the energy systems, you don't produce huge levels of lactic acid if you go beyond 30 seconds. So you can think of a shorter hill as somewhere between around 15 seconds to 25 to 30 seconds on the outside. If you do it as a build-up, you can increase the length of that hill. So increasing the length of the hill from 45 seconds up to 90 seconds. So you kind of have a range from 25 seconds to 90 seconds on that short hill, depending on the time of the year and your intensity level. Now the advantage of doing the short hill is that you can increase the strength in your calves. A lot of us are really weak in our calves, and if you notice when people are running or you hear people running, particularly in a race where you hear them slap, their feet come down and slap, slap, slaps, that could be attributed to overstriding, could be a funny shoe, but it also could be calf strength or lack of. If you're having a midfoot stance where you get a little bit of compression, you shouldn't feel that foot just come down with a flat foot each time. When you run up a hill, it forces you to stay up on your midfoot and increases the strength in your Achilles, your gastroc, and your soleus muscles on the backside of your leg. And by doing that, increasing that strength, it's going to increase your speed. So initially when you start a hill, it's going to feel like it's slow. Gee, I'm plodding up this. But you'll notice if you do an interval set on a hill over a 4 to 6 week period, and let me give you an example. Let's start off with a short hill, and you do 3 to 4 sets of 6 times 25 seconds. So 25 seconds up, and then you cruise back down, and ideally take about a 1 to 2 rest interval. So if it's 25 seconds up, 50 seconds, 25 seconds roughly going down, plus another 25 where you're resting, and then go back up again. Allow yourself a flat section in between. So with a group and athletes that I coach, we would do these 6 times 25 and then run 1K or 1 mile and then come back and do another set of 6 times 25, excuse me, and then do it again with the 1K or 1 mile and do the final set of 6 times 25 seconds. So you spread out that workload as opposed to doing a big huge block, and by doing that you can also bring your intensity up. If you look at a longer hill, what's the advantage of doing that? First off, you have to have one. In Colorado, we've got lots of long hills. We can do a hill and just keep running for hours on end. That's probably too long. A longer hill I look at anywhere between 15 to about 30 minutes. So for those of you that don't live in the hilly part of our country, you want to try to think of a treadmill. And the treadmill gradient for those hill long segments should be between about 4 to 6%. On the shorter ones, which I just described, between 5 to 8%. The 5 to 8% works that inner quad muscle, your vastus medialis. A longer hill, obviously, you're going to have a little more fatigue because we develop what I call that sustained muscular endurance. So on a long hill, it might be integrated into your workout after a short warm-up, where you go up this hill 15 or 20 minutes just at a steady pace. If you're doing it on a treadmill, my suggestion is that you do a ladder. So in a 20-minute block, it might be 4 minutes at 5%, 4 minutes at 6%, 4 minutes at 7%, 4 minutes at 8%, and then come back down 4 minutes at 5% on the end. You've got a 20-minute block. So those hill workouts will generate strength, which equates to speed. They will work.